Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've had a chance to talk to you guys about different things that we're all going through. I've just actually needed to take a break because I've been going through so many changes and integrations in my body, and it's been a lot. But a burning conversation that I wanted to have is on the fallen goddess. Now, the fallen goddess is an aspect of the goddess that any woman or man that is awakening is going to have to work through. Now, the feminine, just because you start a spiritual path and you start an awakening journey, doesn't mean that all of your past lives have been high vibes. It doesn't mean that every experience you've had as a soul has been really lit. In fact, it's quite the opposite sometimes, because for you to be a light being now, for you to be conscious, or for you to be resonating or identifying with love, you had to have experienced the opposite or the lack of love and making choices from this space. And so the fallen goddess is an aspect of us that once it's healed, it still can be classified as maybe dark, the dark goddess, or sometimes even the darker aspect of the feminine. But it's usually very powerful aspects of our goddess that had some really bad experiences. You know, maybe you were a witch in a past life and you were burnt at a stake. And maybe you were burnt at a stake because maybe you did some not good things to other people. I'm just wondering if this bird's gonna come into the shot. Come on, it's okay, it's safe, you can come into the shot. I'm not gonna hurt you. So the fallen goddess is an aspect of the goddess that has to be purified and healed in order for you to pass the initiation and step into a higher frequency of your divine feminine and your goddess nature. Now, a lot of people don't like to talk about this, but it is really important because it's happening to you whether you want to acknowledge it or not, or whether you want to discuss it or not. It's still happening to every single one of us. Every single one of us has had experiences where we were very powerful and high vibes, and experiences where we were very powerful and not so high vibes. And when I say not so high vibes, I mean that we could have been jealous, competitive, manipulative, narcissistic, scornful, you know, not able to forgive, not able to trust, all those things. So you know that you're dealing with the fallen goddess at a time in your life when you're having issues with the feminine, whether that's a feminine friend, your own feminine essence, your family member. It's usually some kind of issue with the feminine. In my experience, it's been related to betrayals, false friendships, manipulations, fake friends, friends that are competitive, feeling competition within self, always comparing myself, being egotistical, narcissistic, thinking, oh, I'm a goddess, I'm just like so much better than everyone. And it could be very subtle sometimes, you know. It could also be using your feminine power to manipulate people to do what you want. So we can actually make people sometimes do stuff with our energy. You know, we could be pulling them in or trying to get them to do something on a higher dimension. And we're not always aware of this because there's parts of us, like I said, that some of parts of our soul are fully healed and some parts are what are called fallen aspects. So now if you just imagine yourself like a Russian doll with all these different shells, and each layer there's a you on each dimension. Now each layer of you might be fully purified and aligned to organic source, or your I am, which is the highest part of your soul, or it could be a little bit, you know, wayward because maybe that part of you was involved in some rituals in a past life that were very dark, or you decided to go to the dark side. So in my past life experiences, I've seen that I have been, you know, sometimes an 11th dimensional being, a 12th dimensional being, 15th dimensional being, and decided to go to the dark side. Maybe because I was taken over or, you know, coerced into the dark, or sometimes I was just pissed off with God and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the dark side and just not be a nice person anymore and whatever. And then each time I did that, I would suffer so much soul loss and so much negative karma and sorcery, and because you attract more of that. So if you're hurting people, if you're doing black magic on other people, you're going to get it back. If you've been manipulating people, you're going to get manipulated. If you've been hurting others, you're going to get it back. So it pretty much works that way. And so use the experiences that you have as a mirror to show you what is still needing healing within you, and then work with that, And when I'm working with healing and purifying the divine feminine, or the pure water, because the divine mother or the goddess is the water element, when I'm purifying that, I like to call in, the purest, highest expressions of the divine feminine that I know, to help me. And the way that I do this, and I have actually created a free video explaining this, which you are welcome to receive if you subscribe on my website, explaining exactly how you call in the highest, purest expressions of organic source. And I keep using the word organic because, look, there's a spiritual war happening in the world, and not every energy is pure, and not every energy is the original pure love. Some energies are manufactured or recreated, and they're not the pure thing, and they're just there to kind of like distract you or be a decoy on your spiritual path. So yeah, that for me is a very strong intention. So with the fallen goddess as well, one thing I've learned is that it can also be, the deepest heart pains that you've faced or experienced from other female friends or other females that you know. It can be initiations where you have to learn how to be discerning. Now, the word discerning means trusting your instincts about people. If something doesn't feel right on a deep gut level, it could also be that there's inconsistencies that you pick up from someone. When this happens, you have to trust that discernment. And if you don't, sometimes you could manifest a fake healer or a fake psychic or someone who is pretending to be the light, but they're not the light. And I've definitely had so many of these experiences where I've gone to healers and they've actually made things worse for me than actually better. And then I had more work to do after the healing or the medicine journey or whatever it was. So Fallen Goddess teaches us how to be more discerning. Now, once we've purified our Fallen Goddess, we will start to emanate more of our true goddess nature. And, certain things like, I remember before I'd gone through this deep purification with the goddess, I remember I was very fixated on glamour and always looking like a goddess, but not necessarily always feeling like one on the inside. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. And I think there's a lot of pressure for that in the world through our media and Instagram. There's this pressure that you have to look perfect. And, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. And it's about loving all the in-between stuff as well and being okay with that. I've also found that there's a lot of distrust within the Fallen Goddess energies. You don't trust other women, you don't trust yourself, you don't trust your feminine, and it just goes on and on. But really fundamentally, there's a lack of trust that's brewing under the surface. Again, it also comes down to forgiveness, true forgiveness of yourself. So if you're having challenges with another woman, there's definitely a part of you that is resonating the same frequency on a higher dimension. And that I can tell you is 100% what I've seen for myself. There is literally nothing outside you. So when I say nothing outside you, means whatever conflict or issues you have or whatever ugly things you see in other people, there's definitely a part of you that's resonating, especially if it really triggers you, especially if it really makes you uncomfortable. There's definitely a part of you that has that frequency that you need to call back, do a soul retrieval, forgive, and integrate back into your body. And then when you do enough of that, harmony starts to come, you start to feel more harmonious within yourself, and your relationships just shift to a whole nother dynamic. Sometimes old people come back and there's a whole new different level of connection. Sometimes you manifest a whole completely different energy of friends or women who resonate. So it's a really powerful initiation, and don't see it as a negative thing. Just see it as just work to be done. We all have work to be done. This is a lifetime that's about graduating. And when I say graduating, it's about taking all of those timelines from the past and bringing everything that we've ever experienced from the past, bringing it into the here and now and transmuting it, and really choosing, okay, like I've done some bad things before, that doesn't resonate anymore. Now what do I want to create? Now I want to be more connected to the truth of who I really am as a soul. And I'm done with experimenting with the dark side and this and that. Like I just want to be my pure love self and my fullest potential. So, we're all going to get initiations on this. And the next conversation I will have will be about the fallen divine masculine, because we also have to get initiated on this, and it looks a specific way as well. And it manifests certain things. And it's about purifying the masculine within us. So I look forward to the next session. Thanks.